Ladies and gentlemen, I declare this congregation for the award of degrees at Queen Mary, University of London, open. Please be seated. Minister Etienne Abella of the Government of Malta, the United Kingdom High Commissioner Cathy Ward, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, our newest graduates here in front. It's a real pleasure to welcome you today as Vice Principal for Health at Queen Mary, University of London, to the Citadel in Rabat to graduate our latest doctors from our Malta campus. For everyone involved in university life, this is the most magical part of the year. I'd like to congratulate all of our new doctors. This is going to happen several times, guys. So really well done. Let's give them a round of applause. We're here to celebrate your magnificent achievements. This is your moment. You've worked so incredibly hard to be here, so enjoy every single minute of it. Each of you are pioneers, as you're amongst those who, together with our staff behind me, forged the foundations of our new medical school here on Malta. The challenges you've overcome to achieve your degrees should not be underestimated. And your achievements and resilience are an inspiration to all of us. As evidence of this, during the pandemic, you stepped forward when you didn't have to and did testing and administered 20,000 COVID vaccines to the people of Malta. I would also like to welcome your family and friends, some of whom have travelled very long distances to be here today, and some of you who are joining us virtually online. I'd like to thank you all personally from the bottom of my heart for your support and encouragement to these young people. As a dad of a young doctor, I know what that has been like, and several of you, family and friends, may reasonably think you should come up here and receive a degree too. You may be thinking that now they're off the books. Well, I can assure you they'll be back parking outside your house, eating your food. And in really bad news, I unfortunately can confirm the bank of mum and dad never ever shuts. Seriously though, neither our graduates nor our staff could have achieved this without your support and partnership. So I thank each and every one of you. This is very much your day too. My daughter is also a young doctor like you, and she's just returned from a year in the emergency department at Charles Gardner Hospital in Perth. So I asked her at the weekend, what would be the most important advice you give a bunch of young people starting out on the same journey she did as a newly qualified doctor? She said, buy a really good sofa, a really comfy bed, and book your holidays on day one. You graduate from a medical school formed from the union of the Medical College of St Bartholomew's Hospital, the London Hospital, Westfield College and Queen Mary. Each of those founding institutions has as its mission to care for humanity. One of these, St Bartholomew's Hospital, has been doing precisely this with free healthcare since 1123. And on your backs today, you wear the shield of St Bartholomew's Hospital as a signal of 902 years' history of providing healthcare free at the point of delivery. Nobody in the entire world can change that heritage. You will meet in your professional life people who are desperately ill, and in their greatest hour of need, they will place their absolute trust in you. They will share their most private details, even things they may never have told their loved ones. Your compassion, care and kindness at their greatest moment of vulnerability will leave a lasting and indelible impression upon them and their relatives, whatever the outcome. As you will shortly recite the Geneva Convention, please remember, all of us who are doctors, and you are now, we're here for the whole of humanity, wherever humans have our need. We should do our very best for everyone, wherever they are. I'd also like to thank the staff in medicine here in Malta for all of their hard work and commitment, and those at the university who have helped organise this evening. I will give you a chance to give them a round of applause later. Oh. Together with Maltese colleagues, you've created a fabulous campus, which we visited earlier today. Today is a day for you to enjoy too, and I'm certain that everyone graduating today is really grateful for your commitment to shaping the next generation of doctors who will shortly begin their careers in healthcare. Queen Mary is a world-leading university that pushes the boundaries of research, but also tries to provide top-class education for our students. Most recently, in assessments of research in the UK, Queen Mary was joint 7th in the country for the quality of our research, with 92% of our research judged as either internationally excellent or world-leading. Our university's got a genuine and strong track record in public and community engagement, and we are firmly embedded in our community. And here, Minister Etienne Abella, as Minister of Health and Active Ageing, I want to convey Queen Mary's deepest thanks and gratitude to the people of Malta. I particularly want to offer my deepest thanks to the patient staff across Malta and Gozo, who have so generously allowed our medical students into their lives to learn within the Maltese health system. You have welcomed our young students into your lives and communities, and the people of Malta have shared deeply personal information about their health, and it is a result of their generosity that we can celebrate these new doctors today. They are the living embodiment of the success of this UK-Malta partnership, and I thank you and the people of Malta most profoundly. With over 27 nationalities represented amongst our graduates today, we're incredibly proud of our diverse student community. The diversity of our student body makes us who we are, and we're recognised for being an inclusive Russell Group university and the #1 in the country for social mobility. Today, we will very much celebrate this diversity in the students who will cross this stage and receive their degrees. We know from experience that diversity is a potential catalyst for groundbreaking ideas shared between students who grew up round the corner or from the other side of the world. I know you're not going to believe me, but seated amongst you today are future global leaders in healthcare who will transform lives. The track record of your predecessors is pretty strong. From the discovery of the circulation of blood in 1628 by Harvey, that we still use today to treat heart disease, to the description of Parkinson's disease and Down syndrome. But we're not grounded in the past, even with 902 years of heritage. This year, Sir Jack Cusick received a knighthood for his seminal clinical trials that formed the basis for the National Health Service recommending the adoption of an anastrozole for the prevention of breast cancer in women over 50. This measure will avoid breast cancer in 8,000 women a year, saving £15 million to the NHS every year. In high blood pressure due to excess production of a steroid hormone, aldosterone, Maurice Brown, FRS, has shown that if you shine radiofrequency waves through the wall of the stomach at the adrenal gland, a gland that sits on top of your and my kidney, then you can potentially cure adrenal hypertension without major life-threatening abdominal surgery. And this week, his work will be recognised by a fellowship of the Royal Society. Recently, Louise Jones and Claude Chalala won £19 million to investigate the role of artificial intelligence in healthcare and biomarkers to identify new molecular signatures for cancer that could transform treatment. Quite simply, people who train or work here transform lives. One such, who sat where you did in a different venue some 30 years ago, Professor Sir Andrew Pollard, led the vaccine trials of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine at lightning speed. This UK invention went on to be distributed to 183 countries across the world in record time, saving an estimated 6.3 million lives. And here, you played your part in vaccinating the people of Malta, so I thank you again for that. He graduated from this medical school in 1989. I expect nothing less from each of you, so no pressure, guys. There are lots of stories like this of our staff and alumni living Queen Mary's values and making the world a better place for us all. From today, you are now our ambassadors, and you join that cadre of healthcare providers. You are the embodiment of our values. We're all so very, very proud of you and so delighted to have the privilege of sharing this moment with you. You've given yourselves a fantastic platform for the future by completing your degree at Queen Mary here in Malta. Today, the first part of that investment's realised. You and your families and your friends should, like the staff at the university, feel so extremely proud of your achievement. And you can't see them, but I can. They're bursting with pride right now. You are now part of a vibrant community of over 210,000 alumni from this university, based in more than 170 countries across the world, working in every imaginable field. So do make the most of this rich professional network and to connect and support each other. As an alumni, you'll play a really important life in your university, and we really need your expertise through mentoring students, offering placements to our students. Please do not make this your last contact with Queen Mary. And as you settle into the health system, tell us your views and how best to reach you so we can update you on news, but also that we can share in the pride of your achievements in the future. The next phase of your career will probably take you into direct healthcare. You will be aware that health systems worldwide are challenged right now. At times, the road will be rocky, and some of you may think perhaps medicine isn't for you. Remember, the doors of your university always remain open to you, and you can always reach out for help or advice. I qualified 41 years ago this July, although I can share with you that at times the going was tough, and there will also be many times when you will go home at the end of the day knowing that you brought a new life into this world safely, or that you saved the life of somebody. 41 years later, I cannot think of a better way I could have spent my life. And remember, I trained at this medical school too, and I once sat in a similar seat to you today. If every day of your life as a doctor, you help just 3 people, that's 15 people in a 5-day week. In a 47-year week, you will help 705 people, each of you. In 40 years, each of you will transform 28,200 lives. Just 3 people a day, that's all it takes. You will do many more than this. But if all 71 of you change those lives at the same rate, you will touch 2,002,000 people. Please trust me, you will all make way more impact on humanity than that, because just 3 people a day is not that many. Wherever your career takes you, you now have the foundations to make a real difference in the world. Before I close, I'd just like to say another huge thank you to the families, supporters and friends of our graduating students. So often getting a degree is a team effort, and I think that team effort comes together today. And I know how critical your support will have been of these young people at all stages in their university career. So thank you to everyone who's here today, those watching online who've supported our graduates. Your help and encouragement has enabled our students to achieve the success we celebrate today. So feel that in a moment of pride as they cross this stage. I just want to let you know that Professor Cathy Molyneux's flight was delayed today, so she will join us later during the celebration, or as you might refer to it, the after party. And she wanted to know, all of you to know, how deeply proud she is of each and every one of your achievements. And she is celebrating you in thought as we award the degrees now in a moment. We'll soon proceed to awarding the degrees, and I'll ask our Minister Etienne Abella and the High Commissioner Cathy Ward to help me. As you come across the stage, can I just say, we are not obstacles to be avoided. We are here to shake your hands. If you don't want to shake our hands, that's fine, just do this. It's all fine. As we do this, I will ask you when you come to me, because I'll be first, we want to turn, mums, dads, family and friends, that's your moment of the cameras out taking pictures, and we will get an official picture of them. We found over the years, unless they turn to face the audience, the pictures are rubbish. So we'll soon proceed to award degrees. Every one of you, enjoy every second of it. To family and friends, please make a lot of noise. Pretty much anything goes, as long as you remain fully clothed. Please give them a giant cheer when they come up on stage. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the conferment of degrees. I admit to their degrees all graduates here present today. I now call upon Professor Anthony Warrens, Dean for Malta and Partnerships, to present the graduands from the Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry.
Vice Principal, I call upon the Honourable Dr. Jo Etienne Abella, Minister for Health and Active Ageing, and Her Excellency High Commissioner Cathy Ward to assist in the conferment of degrees on graduands from the Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry for the degree of Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery. Fahad Ahmed. Mohammed Akhtar. Sarah Al-Agram. Arwa Mazen Rasul Al-Jabari. Bisma Bashir. Mishael Bashir. Anya Bhatia. With the merits in Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3, Krishna Mohun Das Kwanhai. Veronica Yan Yu Chan. With the merit in Part 2, Dipanjana Chowdhury. With the merit in Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 and Part 5, Taj Nicholas Roderick Cox. Unanya Dahagam. Pethawadu Fihan Daxitha de Silva. With a distinction in Part 4 and Part 5, Lisa Marie Douglas. With a merit in Part 5 and a distinction in Part 3, Rachel Ella Mary Duckworth. With a distinction in Part 1, Sarmat El Samad. With a merit in Part 1 and Part 3 and a distinction in Part 2, Charles Frederick Lewis Fenner. With a merit in Part 5, Bethan Caris Freestone. Kiara Gandhi. Manraj Singh Garial. Vibash Ravi Gunaseni. Amy Petula Ainsworth Hickey. With a merit in Part 3 and a distinction in Part 2, Part 4 and Part 5, Tiago Robles Uber. Hamza Idris. Mohammed Ahmed Idris. With the merits in Part 1, Imad Mohammed Imran. Abhinav Janada. Tamasha Juwan Mandadige. With a merit in Part 3 and Part 5 and a distinction in Part 4, Grace Catherine Keeley. Rafia Asim Khan. Jack Christopher David Lancashire. Leo Melissa Lemon. Pak Him Timothy Leung. With a merit in Part 3 and a distinction in Part 1, Part 2, Part 4 and Part 5, Khaled Nek Mohammed Shiraz Manji. Ali Mesbahi. Leila Ahmed Esemeldin Maharam. With a merit in Part 3, Ishrat Ali Muniaruth. Muka Mtamira. Khadijat Mustafa. With a merit in Part 3, Michael Henry Nazim. With a merit in Part 2 and Part 4, and a distinction in Part 1 and Part 3, Zhen Ming Jeremy Ng. With a merit in Part 1 and Part 4, and a distinction in Part 3 and Part 5, Nicholas Nicolau. With a merit in Part 1 and a distinction in Part 3, Parmjit Singh Panesar. Janil Amit Kumar Patel. Ahmed Rabi. Seyon Ramesh. With a merit in Part 4 and Part 5, David Ravishar. With a merit in Part 3 and a distinction in Part 2 and Part 4, Lara Saleh. Luisa Silva Simões. Amy Simon. Zainab Mehboob Peyarli Sumar. Bintu Isa Tijani. The recipient of the 2023 to 2024 Christopher Hawkes Prize in Neuroscience. Second, Jordan Min Truong. With a merit in Part 2 and Part 3, Thomas David Tyrer. Valerie Osasenega Uzameri. Mithirikit Vachiraka Semsin. With a distinction in Part 2, Part 3, Part 4 and Part 5, Anna Margaret Williamson. Hugh Tung Tiffany Wu. With a merit in Part 4 and a distinction in Part 1 and Part 2, and recipient of the 2020-2021 Anthony J. Williams Memorial Prize Part 1, first, Mohammed Zaid Jawed. That concludes the conferment of degrees from the Faculty of Medicine and Dentistry.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I now call upon Professor Warrens to address the Assembly.
Vice Principals, Honourable Minister, Her Excellency, Your Excellency, the High Commissioner, academic and professional staff colleagues, friends and family, and most importantly, the new doctors of Queen Mary's graduating MBBS class of 2025. I have to be honest with you, I was dreadful at languages at school, particularly French. I can still see the look of dismay on the face of the examiner in my final oral exam when I got confused between the words for a black coat and a blackboard and started talking about writing all over my clothes with chalk. I think I didn't cope well with making mistakes. I'm a bit better now. And actually, I started having another go at learning a modern language, not French, too painful memories. Excusez-moi, mes amis français. But I've learnt that the road to improvement must inevitably be populated by mistakes. And it's no different in medicine. Your degree has taken you to a certain level, but you now know how much you don't know. And here's the sad fact. Over the years, as you know more and more, you will understand that we as a community know less and less than we thought. But it's not really a sad fact at all. it can be a joy. You will know what you do know, and you can use that to help your patients. But there will be the joy of interacting with others who know more in other areas and can help your patients in their areas of expertise. And together, the patient benefits. Medicine in the 21st century is a team sport. So you need to be good team players. For some patients, you will be the team captain. For others, you'll provide the assist, the fantastic cross ball from which the centre forward scores the goal. For yet others, you'll sit on the bench for much of the game and just be brought on when your particular skill is needed. But you'll always be in a position to help the patient. Be good team players. Value and respect others, but also know your own worth, while ensuring that ego does not get in the way. The object of the game is for the patient to win. So I too have applied this to my new language skills, and I'm seeing those skills grow. I'm dealing better with making mistakes. But having said that about modern languages at school, I did love Latin. Now, it may be that that was because I could sit and think about it and not have to respond in real time. There really was never a danger that I would bump into the local centurion who would sneer at me because I was using a particular noun in the second rather than the first declension. I hadn't realised how often I'd used Latin phrases until a colleague at Queen Mary, who became a friend, told me that when I first started at the university, they used to count how many meetings I attended in a week in which I didn't find a reason to slip in a Latin phrase. So I won't disappoint today. Here's a Latin phrase. Carpe diem. Seize the day. Take as much as possible out of every single day. Squeeze as much out of every day's lemon. And every day has some juice. The juice may be more sour on some days than others, but there's always something. Remembering this day will be easy. None of you will forget your graduation day, the day when you passed the milestone of being a student to joining one of the noblest professions in the world. It is no accident that medicine remains one of the most respected vocations to which one can aspire. And you should enjoy that. You've worked hard to be here. But not every day of your professional lives will be filled with the excitement and sense of occasion that today brings. It's not every day that you will don these robes that display publicly that you are part of the tradition that links you to centuries of graduates in the oldest medical school in England and one of the most respected academic institutions in the world. No, there will be other, less congenial days, cold, wet days when the car didn't start, the car you needed to take to work because of the train strike. And you'll be late for the clinic, which is meant to have 12 patients, but which you know has been overbooked and has 16. And you know that half of them will be late because of the train strike. So it will be pandemonium at the end of the clinic when you'd hope to get away on time for the first day that month, and. But even that day will have its joys. The patient who is grateful to have done unexpectedly well in the new medicine you introduced last time you saw him. The colleague who's got the job she really wanted because she was supported by the excellent reference you deservedly wrote for her, etc., etc. Carpe diem. Find the joy in every day and seize it. It puts the train strike in perspective. And I have every confidence that you are extremely well positioned to seize the opportunities of those days that lie before you. I have that confidence because I know how you have been trained. The exacting standards laid down by your university, and by our regulators, the General Medical Council. They speak comprehensively and in detail of your achievements. But more than that, you stand on the shoulders of giants who've populated the corridors of our medical school, as Sir Mark has just said. But Malta also has a proud medical history. The condition we know as brucellosis was previously known as Malta fever. It was first described as having been contracted in Malta from unpasteurized goat's milk, and was first described by the wonderfully named Sir Themistocles Zammit. The bacteria that causes it is called Brucella melitensis, more Latin. Melitensis means from Malta. That's history, but I also know the present. I know the people who have taught you on a day-to-day basis these past few days, many of them sitting behind me today. They are a highly talented, dedicated and enthusiastic team of educators, and they've led you to this point. But there are many more. The people who have taught you on the wards, in outpatient clinics, in general practices all over Malta. I've worked with quite a number of doctors trained in Malta over the years, many long before I was ever involved with this school. And I've very early on formed an opinion that Malta trains its doctors well. And this feeling has only been reinforced with time and time again, as I've witnessed the very positive educational experiences that you have had in the clinical environment in this country. Medicine is practiced to a very high standard in this country, particularly, of course, in upper gastrointestinal surgery. And you've benefited greatly from this environment. We have had over 900 years to mature into the centre of excellence that we are in London. It is attributes to all who have been involved in the development of this school in Malta that we are now graduating doctors who are indistinguishable in terms of their academic performance from our London graduates, from our school that is not 900 years old, but is only 8 years old. A great achievement. So, you arrive here the beneficiaries of two parallel traditions. It began with a monk, Rahir, a canon at St. Paul's Cathedral, who fell ill on a pilgrimage to Rome and had a vision of St. Bartholomew. And he promised that if he returned alive, he would found a hospital for the sick. And he did just that, founding St. Bartholomew's Hospital, Barts, in 1123. Well, you guys have made it a little bit further than Rahir's pilgrimage to Rome, here to Malta. Although, in fairness, in 1123, he had neither Ryanair or EasyJet. But many of you will be retracing his steps back to St. Paul's Cathedral in London next week for our rites of passage ceremony. But you're part of a second tradition also. You studied in a country with centuries of glorious traditions in healthcare, traditions that gave Malta the sobriquet, the nurse of the Mediterranean, as it had in many previous conflicts. During the First World War, Malta cared for large numbers of wounded soldiers. There was so much medical activity that at its height, there were 17 hospitals in this country. So you stand on the threshold of exciting, professionally fulfilling careers. I've enjoined you to find something to enjoy every day of those careers and to learn to play as team players. Each of you will find your own niche in the profession because there's an enormous array of opportunities available to you. You must do that while finding a balance between your professional and personal lives. This is crucial. A meaningful professional life will add immeasurably to your personal life, and a fulfilling personal life will give your professional life a context and three-dimensionality that will make you a more effective, more caring, and more fulfilled doctor. I've said there will be challenges. No healthcare system in the world is without them. And the cynics will tell you that in the domain of problems, also the UK NHS leads the world. But that's not true. There are certainly challenges in the UK NHS, but good news stories don't sell newspapers. And there are many good news stories in the NHS. And there will be challenges in any healthcare system, and you may be caught in the crossfire. You'll be pressurised to meet targets and reorganise systems and enhance your productivity. But ultimately, it's about the relationship with individual patients. That is the core of our role and also the central joy. Hold on to that source of joy and use it to develop every day. Carpe diem. And as you move on from medical school, take a moment to enjoy your achievements. Sir Mark has reminded us all of the extra stresses that you had to deal with during your training here, but deal with them you have. And you have emerged not just intact, but enhanced and prepared to meet whatever obstacles are placed in your way. You have shown skills of resilience and fortitude that you may not have known you had, as well as the academic and personal qualities which we knew were there to be nurtured and matured. I now encourage you to take those skills and show the world what the Queen Mary graduating class of 2025 is truly capable of. Take hold of today, this DM, and take it forward with pride. Carpe diem, make us proud.
Thanks, Anthony, for that wonderful address. Ladies and gentlemen, we now come to the presentation of the academic awards. And this year we asked the students, including those here who are graduating today, for 2 awards. Now it says here the Beside Award. I think it probably means the Bedside Award for teaching, and the GP Tutor of the Year Award. The nominations ran throughout the academic year, and we're pleased to announce the award recipients today. And just when he thought he was going to sit down for a bit, I now call upon Professor Warrens to announce the award winners.
So I'm delighted to be presenting these 2 awards, which were first launched at the Malta campus last academic year. The Bedside Teaching Award and the GP Tutor of the Year Award. I'd like to call again on the Honourable Joe Etienne-Abella, Minister for Health and Active Ageing, to assist in the presentation of these awards. As Sir Marcus just said, students were asked to nominate exceptional clinical tutors for these awards. For the Bedside Teaching Award, students acknowledged a number of exceptional qualities, including interactive and fun teaching, clear and calm instruction, and a very approachable and responsive demeanour on the wards during placement, creating a positive learning environment. To receive this award, I would like to call to the stage Dr. Francesca Carlson. The second award is the GP Tutor Award, the GP Tutor of the Year Award. For this award, students were asked to nominate their favourite GP based on the exceptional teaching, the exceptional learning experience they received in this academic year. To receive this award, I would like to call to the stage Dr. Frank Kasha. I'd like to close off this section by thanking all our clinicians for their contributions throughout the academic year. Your efforts are immeasurable, and today's ceremony is testament to the hard work that you all put in to supporting our students. Thank you. This concludes the presentation of academic awards.
I now call upon Dr. Marissa Abella to read the Geneva Declaration. Marissa.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations, new graduates. The Declaration of Geneva was adopted by the General Assembly of the World Medical Association at Geneva in 1948 and was most recently editorially revised and amended in 2017. It is a declaration of a physician's dedication to the humanitarian goals of medicine a declaration that was especially important in view of the medical crimes which had just been committed in German-occupied Europe. The Declaration of Geneva was intended as a revision of the Hippocratic Oath to a formulation of that oath's moral truths that could be comprehended and acknowledged in a modern way. Unlike the case of the Oath of Hippocrates, the World Medical Association calls this statement a pledge. At this time, I would like to ask the graduates to stand up to join me as I read the declaration. I will read it slowly so that you can repeat after me. I would like also to invite all practicing clinicians here with us to also stand and join us as we read the declaration. Please stand. As a member of the medical profession, I solemnly pledge to dedicate my life to the service of humanity. The health and well-being of my patient will be my first consideration. I will respect the autonomy and dignity of my patient. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. I will not permit considerations of age, disease or disability, creed, ethnic origin, gender, nationality, political affiliation, race, sexual orientation, social standing, or any other factor to intervene between my duty and my patient. I will respect the secrets that are confided in me, even after the patient has died. I will practice my profession with conscience and dignity and in accordance with good medical practice. I will foster the honor and noble traditions of the medical profession. I will give to my teachers, colleagues, and students the respect and gratitude that is their due. I will share my medical knowledge for the benefit of the patient and the advancement of healthcare. I will attend to my own health, well-being, and abilities in order to provide care of the highest standard. I will not use my medical knowledge to violate human rights and civil liberties, even under threat. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. Everyone, this concludes the declaration. Thank you.
I now call upon Luisa Silva Somos to give the student address. Luisa.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. I would like to start by thanking all of those who made this incredible achievement possible. Our esteemed faculty, proud parents, devoted spouses and partners, supportive families, cherished friends, and most importantly, my fellow graduates, doctors at last. Wow, we did it. Just take a moment to look around. Here we are, draped in robes, caps balanced somewhat unsteadily, and maybe still a bit stunned that we can now legally prescribe more than just caffeine and coping mechanisms. Remember that first day. We arrived excited, optimistic, certain we had it all figured out. Then came the early days, endless lectures, anatomy that got heavier every week, and metabolic pathways like TCA cycle, which, let's be honest, most of us still can't recite word for word and may never actually use it. And who could forget pharmacology, the drug names, mechanisms, side effects, enough to make us question our choice of this path. Through it all, the endless lectures, the baffling rotations, the moments of crippling imposter syndrome when we wondered if we would truly ever get it, we persevered. We learned to decipher doctors' handwriting, or did we? I'm convinced this is a secret language taught only in an advanced postgrad course. We mastered the art of looking busy when we had absolutely no idea what was going on. And we discovered that "it depends" is the most versatile and medically accurate answer to almost any question that patients may ask us in the future. And how could we not take a moment to reflect on the place that has shaped us, Malta? For the past 5 years, this island has been more than just a backdrop to our studies. It became our home. We arrived here, most of us strangers to each other, and to this tiny Mediterranean gem with limestone building, or yellow, in literally every direction, unsure of what lays ahead. We adapted to the heat, the festas, the fireworks at all hours, and quite literally all hours of the day. And let's not forget the buses when trying to get to placement that may or may not show up. But beyond all that, Malta offered us more than sunshine and sea. It offered us a community. We studied in its hospitals, we learned from its patients, we found support in its people. We built friendships on rocky beaches, we celebrated our small victories and large meltdowns under the Maltese sun. And now, just as we grew into this place, we're getting ready to leave it. Some of us may be heading back home, some to completely new countries, but wherever we go, Malta will always be a part of our story, a reminder that resilience can be built far from what is familiar. Now, as we stand in the precipice of this new chapter, let's take a moment to reflect on the immense privilege and profound responsibility that awaits us. We're entering a profession unlike any other. We are being entrusted with lives, with hopes, with fears, and with the most sacred stories of humanity. As Sir William Osler, one of the fathers of modern medicine, wisely put it, the good physician treats the disease, but the great physician treats the patient who has the disease. Remember this, beyond the diagnosis and the treatments, beyond the lab results and the algorithms lies a human being, a parent, a child, a sibling, a friend. They're not just interesting or boring cases. They are people who deserve our empathy, our compassion, and our unwavering dedication. Charles Darwin once observed, "It is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change." And in medicine, that couldn't be more true. This is a field of constant motion, with new scientific discoveries, emerging technologies, shifting systems that will shape the way we practice for the rest of our career. Change isn't the exception in medicine. It's the rhythm of our profession. But here's the good news. We're all already well trained for this. Think about what we've done. We moved to Malta, a country many of us hadn't even heard of, far from our families, our comfort zones, and our beloved home cuisine. Our campus spanned between two islands, which meant constantly uprooting ourselves from Gozo to Malta and back again. We adapted to new teams, new hospitals, new challenges. Each transition shaped us into the doctor who are adaptable, curious, and quietly brave. So embrace curiosity, never stop learning, challenge the status quo when necessary, and always prioritize the well-being of your patients and your own. And now, as we approach foundation training, this cycle will only continue. We'll relocate once more, rotate every few months, and just as we start to feel comfortable, form some bonds, find mentors, and maybe even a work family, we'll be asked to begin again. And one day, it will be our turn to welcome someone new. This cycle of change isn't ending, it's just the beginning. So my brilliant, resilient, and slightly sleep-deprived colleagues, as we step forward into our medical careers, remember the lessons learned, the friendships forged, and the strength you carry. Go forth to heal, discover, and innovate. But above all, be the kind of doctors you want for yourself and your loved ones. One who listens, cares, advocates, and never forgets the human behind the illness. Some patients will remember your compassion, the way you sat with them long after your shift has ended. Others, your absence, the rush moment you had to step away, torn between their quiet pain and the emergency that couldn't wait. I recently came across a quote that captures this beautifully. The irony of life is that you are a different person to every person you meet. To some, you are quiet. To others, you never stop talking. Some remember you for your kindness, others for the moments you walked away. You are the villain in someone's story, the hero in another's. And to most, you are just a passing thought, a name they once knew. You don't exist as a single person, but as a countless version of yourself, shaped by fleeting moments and personal perceptions. And here's what's unsettling. You never truly know yourself the way that others know you. You never hear your own laughter the way someone else's hears it. Never sees how your absence lingers in a place you once filled. To yourself, you are just you. But in reality, you are 1,000 different stories, none of which you ever get to read. We may never get to read these stories that we star in, but we sure can choose to be kind, to be present, and to be intentional with the role that we play in each one of them. The world needs you, and we're now ready to let go of past med, quest med, past test, and Anki cards, and move into the real world. Let's go make a difference, and as the locals would say, Mela, we did it, my fellow doctors. Congratulations, class of 2025. And if you just bear with me for a minute, my grandparents are here and they do not speak any English, so I would just say a short sentence in Portuguese. Obrigada, vovó e vovô, te amo. Thank you.
That was brilliant, Louisa. Well done. I now call upon the Honourable Minister, Dr. Joe Etienne Abella, to address the congregation on behalf of the Government of Malta. Joe.
Good evening. Vice Principal, Professor Sir Mark Caulfield, Professor Warrens, esteemed faculty, distinguished guests, family members, graduates. I am honored and privileged to be here with you in the heart of Victoria. These bastions are a poignant statement of Gozitan resolve. This place holds a special meaning for many of us. I, for one, grew up only a couple of streets away. Today, we celebrate individual success, but also a shared achievement. Apart from applauding dedication and perseverance in the pursuit of excellence, today is testament to international collaboration. The government that I represent is extremely satisfied with the leap in the number of graduates over the past 3 years. 19 in 2022, 71 this year. This is nothing short of inspiring, may I add, impressive. And what a remarkable group of graduates you are. You represent 26 different countries across 5 continents. From Australia to Zambia, you have brought to Gozo a beautiful mosaic of cultures, perspectives, aspirations. You have enriched this community, and I do hope that it has enriched you too, Omela. This campus has become more than a place of study. It is a center for opportunity, excellence, and international relations. It stands as a powerful example of what can be achieved when we invest in people, in education, and in our shared future. The plans we have for the future are doable and exciting. We shall continue to invest in our healthcare system and to ensure a healthier future for all. We prioritize innovation, accessibility, and quality care, because well-being that comes from intelligent preventive care is the foundation of progress. We strengthened the air link between Gozo General and Malta Day hospitals, and we shall cement more progress in this regard. The master plan for the Gozo Hospital campus marks another significant step forward in the healthcare of this island. It includes the development of a new anatomy center, a modern research center, and a larger acute hospital to meet our growing needs. In the meantime, our radiology assets, CT, MR, ultrasound, are state-of-the-art. Acute beds in the current hospital are being expanded and refurbished to ensure continued quality care and quality teaching. We valued Queen Mary's cooperation to provide clinical space for our radiology specialists. I turn to the academic and professional services staff. You have supported the students through clinical teaching. Your work is the foundation upon which this success is built. You are not only mentors and educators, but role models who pass on values as much as knowledge. This campus has become deeply rooted in the life and fabric of our community. By offering the opportunity for your graduates to enroll into our foundation program, we are opening up a new chapter in which Queen Mary graduates are given the possibility to play an increasingly active role in shaping the future of Maltese and Gozitan healthcare. The Government of Malta, through the Ministry of Health and Active Aging, which I lead, is fully committed to sustaining and enhancing this partnership. We are making excellent progress. Dear graduates, on behalf of the people of Gozo and Malta, thank you for choosing us as your academic home. Now, on a professional note, I don't mean to brag. I don't mind if anyone thinks I'm biased. I love this craft. This profession you have taken on. I love medicine, I love surgery, even though I'm a pancreatic surgeon, but I think it is very clear that I would not give it up for anything in this world. It has become cliché to say that medicine is beautiful because it combines art and science. Nonsense. Medicine is beautiful because it is nothing without compassion. Mahatma Gandhi famously said, "There is no better way to find yourself than losing yourself in the service of others." Then I shall put it to you, improving the lot of your fellow men, alleviating suffering, curing disease. Is there a better way to earn a living? My few words of wisdom to you, I'll narrow down to the PACT mnemonic. You might say, my 4 keys to happiness. P, in whatever you do, treat the patient, not the disease. And the patient comes with relatives, loved ones. Treat the patient and loved ones as your own relatives. A, action. Do your chores out of beneficence, not because you are forced to do them. C, colleagues. Surround yourself with good colleagues. Seek help whenever needed. This is no place for egos, no place for grudges, or bravado, or cowboys. Promote a congenial workplace. Tackle harassment and abuse head on. T, trust. Earn the trust of your patients and your colleagues by practicing safely with your brains and your hearts, not with your tongue. This profession will offer you hope, smiles, laughs, success, defeat, triumphs, and bitter tears. You will not always get it right, but let the satisfaction that comes with doing your very utmost for your fellow men comfort you and give you peace of mind. Congratulations once again, and may your futures be compassionate and as bright and bold as your ambitions. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, for that really wonderful address. I couldn't have agreed with it more. By the way, Queen Mary stands ready to work alongside the Ministry of Health and other aspects of the healthcare in Malta to realise your vision, because that's the right thing to do, and we are a civic university, so we work for the community we exist within. Now, graduands, we've done a lot of clapping this evening for you. It's your turn to stand up, turn around and face your loved ones who are behind you. Seek them out. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to do this. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, newly graduated doctors, these people have been here for you every moment over the 5 or 6 year journey. Show them what you think of them. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to encourage family, friends, loved ones to stand. Face your graduating son, daughter. These people have done an amazing thing, and today is the pinnacle of their time here with us. I know you've been through thick and thin with them, and you feel like you've done a medical degree yourselves. Nonetheless, please show them what you think of them. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Now, I did tell your family and friends, but I probably didn't tell you because I thought it might make you a bit tense. I've been rating you all evening, and I've got to say, this is the best graduation ceremony we've had here on Gozo. But remember, I say that every year. On behalf of Queen Mary University of London, I once again congratulate each of you who are graduating here today for your excellent achievements. I wish you every success and happiness in your future lives and careers. You have trained amongst a cadre of people that surround you now and sit with you. This evening should never be the last day in which you communicate with each other, and I still meet the people I trained with 41 years later on an annual basis and sometimes more often. I encourage you to hunt as a pack and to celebrate being doctors and the trials and tribulations you'll face together, because you will not have finer support than the people you've trained amongst. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to give you some refreshment. Haven't given you a rather large sauna for several hours. I now declare this congregation at Queen Mary University of London for the award of the MBBS degree closed. Would you please stand as the platform party leaves the stage? Thank you all very much.